Okay, folks, section 5.9, factoring patterns for ax squared plus bx plus c. Now what this means is, here's the key part for this one. What do we do when there's something in front of the x squared? We've been factoring things like this. Y squared plus 7x plus 10, right? We know it's going to be y and y, right? Because it's y squared. And then we factor out 10, and we get 1 and 10, 2 and 7. Okay, so we know it's plus 2, plus 7. All right, good, easy. All right, but what if we had something like 6 in front of y squared? Is it going to be 2y and 3y? Maybe. Is it going to be 6y and 1y? Maybe. Okay? But I have devised a devious plan to determine exactly what it is every time. Now, I know that you've been staring at this part of the screen thinking, what on earth is that? This thing is called the quadratic formula. Okay? And you have to memorize it. You have to memorize it. You have to memorize it, okay? So what we're going to do to help you memorize it is you're going to write it at every problem. You're going to write the quadratic formula, okay? That will help you get it into your memory, all right? Now, this helps us solve quadratic equations. It tells us what x can equal. So you can see this, that there's an x squared here, x squared here. If this were an equation that said this equaled 0, then this formula would tell us what x equals, all right? But we're actually going to use it to factor, okay? These problems can get very long when there's something in front of the x squared, okay? So what we want to do is we want to take all the guesswork out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the quadratic formula and we're going to work backwards, all right? So this is what we use when we want to factor. That means unmultiply trinomials when we have something in front of the x squared. We know that it's going to look like that, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to write the quadratic formula minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, and this is what x equals. Then what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it with parentheses so that we make sure we plug in the right numbers. Okay? Now, you may be asking yourself already, what are the right numbers? Where do you get the right numbers? Okay? Well, let me show you. Remember, in the title, it says A, B, and C. And that's exactly what we're going to use. For this one, A is the number, it's always the number in front of the x squared, A is. So that's going to be 14. B is going to be negative 17. Remember, the sign has to stay with it. C is positive 5. All right? Now let's go over here and we're going to plug in the numbers where they need to go. Remember this first parentheses, that's B. So we're going to put negative 17 here and negative 17 in that first parentheses under the square root sign. Then we're going to put 14 in for A. There's an A there and an A down here. And then we're going to put 5 in for C. Okay? Now, let's scoot down a bit. This is going to be a long problem. Okay? So bear with it here. We'll do 2 of these. This is the first one. All right? So look, I've got negative 17. So that's just 17 plus and minus the square root. Negative 17 times negative 17, you can write that out and multiply it if you want. I happen to remember it because I do these problems 150,000 times. This is 289. Okay? I've got negative 4 times 5 times 14, so that's going to be minus, 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 times 14 is 280. Okay? Don't use a calculator. Use the one in your head. All over 28. Okay, it's getting simpler. It's getting simpler. I'm going to pause it right here, and I'll see you on the next video.